All right, after that spirited discussion, we're off to the category course, which always ends the evening. It's not ending our evening yet, but bear with us. Best Picture is the category, and of course last year, big controversy moving from 5 to 10 categories. It was kind of all over the place last year. This year, at least in my opinion, and you stated earlier that you felt the same way, they were a little more right about it this year. They kind of, I guess, worked the kinks out of the system.
Yeah.
And really recognized what was truly great.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And here are the nominees for Best Picture. 127 Hours, Black Swan, The Fighter, Inception, The Kids Are Alright, The King's Speech, The Social Network, Toy Story 3, True Grit, and Winter's Bone. Here we go.
Alright. Be funny if it was Toy Story 3.
Well,
it's not.
I'll not hold my breath. And of course, there's The Social
The
Network.
Social Network,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, everything that needs to be said, we've said in the Best Director category.
Absolutely.
You know, this film, it marked the decade, and there's no more fitting, movie to win in 2010 than the movie that really, defined the decade of 2000.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, I mean, it's a hands down winner. I've talked to a few people that, think that The King's Speech will actually take it, maybe a couple other films, but no, this film was too good in all aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Cinematography, acting, direction, even art direction,
Yes.
everything like that. So it was too good in all aspects not to win. And it should win. It definitely deserved it. I mean, every minute detail was paid attention to and taken care of. And, that deserves to be recognized, and it will be. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. And here's mine. Sorry for the baby.
Ooh. Inception.
It was a coin flip. Just like my 10 best of the year, it was really a coin flip because 8 of the movies in this category actually made my 10 best, and that's...
Which is saying a lot.
It is saying a lot. It's never happened this close to the Oscar for even with 5. Like usually when the top 5 we got only had maybe 2 that had that made the list, and even some that weren't being considered at all. But again, everything here, it was just a good final part of the year. The Oscar season delivered this year. And even the films that did make my 10 best, those being The Fighter and King's Speech, I both gave 4 stars to, and they are both tremendous films. But again, Inception, it's just that as much as The Social Network reminded me of wireless cinema so much, Inception just seems like that type of movie that will never be duplicated.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think we'll see great movies like The Social Network, and I hope we do, because I want to see more great films happen.
Yeah.
But just, I think Inception is that type of film that just cannot be replicated in any form, and this was Christopher Nolan's vision that he's had for so long since his career really even took off.
Yeah.
And he finally was able to do it, and he did not disappoint. I think that was good that he thought of it all these years, because I think it could have turned out just another special effects mess like so many of them did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Stick an ensemble cast in there.
Yeah.
And everything about this film, and I call it, the word I used to describe this movie when I did my initial review for it on this show, mind bender. It bends your mind in a million different ways and just takes you back in and just bends it all over again.
Yeah.
That's the type of movie Inception is, and I really enjoyed it because of that. Because it kept me going, because it kept me thinking that even days afterwards I was still thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I had to see it again to see if I could figure more stuff out. You know what? I really didn't figure it all more out, but I enjoyed it even more.
Yeah,
and that's the enduring quality this film has. And for something this bold to be this good is very rare. Because I find that a lot of the groundbreaking special effects films are only groundbreaking just for that. You know what I mean? And it's not just the special effects. I mean, sometimes less is more. He doesn't overuse it. And some people may think, well, it was a little crazy what he did. Those are the people who didn't understand the movie.
Yeah.
And really, nobody, I don't think, will truly understand this movie. Even me, who it was my pick for best film, didn't fully understand it. But that was the beauty of it. Christopher Nolan made it his goal for us to figure a lot of this out, and he at least gave us a path to try to think on.
Yeah.
What about
again, Inception was a very good movie, and if it did win, I wouldn't, cry about it. It won't win, unfortunately. I hate to say that, but Christopher Nolan was hugely overlooked for director for this picture. If he was nominated, I would say it had more of a chance, but unfortunately. But you never know. I mean, it's the Oscars, and sometimes they throw in a surprise, but that's beside the point. The point is that this movie did also drive, it did also push, in the same way The Social Network did, in a similar way. The climax was breathtaking. Absolutely.
Yes.
And the performances were very solid. And
Everybody lets
I love all of the actors that were in it, even Leonardo DiCaprio. I think it's one of his better performances. I mean, I love Marion Cotillard already. Ellen Page also, very, very solid.
Absolutely.
And
She's
my
favorite of the film.
This film is again, it's mind blowing and it's original and it's, fresh and, it's just really, really good. And what else can you say? I didn't like it more or less than The Social Network. I think The Social Network is a little bit more relatable.
Oh, absolutely.
I think, if I'm going to sit down and
They're
watch a
completely
film,
different movies.
yeah, exactly. And it's hard to compare them, but they're both very good films. And I think if anything's to be taken away is that, there are still good films out there, even though it seems a little bit, inconsistent these days. You don't really get, anything good until the end of the season. The King's Speech, excellent.
Good
Acting,
yeah.
Ensemble, very good. Even, what else is on there?
Well, you got films like 127 Hours, Black Swan, yes.
Yeah. Very, very wide range, good
and they're all about
diversity
different things.
and all of the different things, and it's really nice to see. It's really refreshing. And again, I think the biggest thing to take away from this whole year is the acting. And these solid actors that are they're stepping out of their comfort zones, they're stepping out of their boxes, and it's paying off. So I hope to see more of that.
And another word about Inception, I want to say, even though DiCaprio did not get nominated, all it's doing is just increasing his resume.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of those things where it's just more of a personal accomplishment for him.
Exactly.
And I think he'll just continue just to extend his career going. It's really hasn't. It's faltered with a couple of lackluster films. One I think of is Body of Lies with Russell Crowe, just not a good movie at all. And very huge disappointment. But every great actor, every good actor hits a speed bump along the way, and it tends to happen. But good for Leo for at least staying consistent in his career, probably more than most could today. So
yeah, exactly.
And yes, but it was it's a great year for Best Picture. Yeah. I think this is the best Picture lineup I've seen probably all decade, last decade. So it's almost flawless if you ask me.
Yeah.
But but
there's an animated category for a reason.
Anyway, moving on. Coming up next is a category you won't see at the Oscars, but I'm sure many wish for. Worst nomination. That's coming up next. That's going to wrap up our show.